I will give us a quick room update now. This is the room of the RealFi Alliance. We're a group of Cardano projects, mainly concerned about creating RealFi, which is, for us, it's DeFi with connect with real assets. We're mainly driven by two startups and a few more, which is Empower building houses and Wire building factories. And I'm very, very curious to learn about what you have in mind, what you hope, and how we can work together, and how we can make Cardano bigger, better, and empower the world. Yeah, I don't know who wants to start. I'd
Hello.
love to hear you. Yeah, first meeting.
It's nice meeting you again. My name is Gentil, known as Frederic. I'm here presenting Equival. Equival is a DApp being developed. Marcus today was about to present the IO, the iOS incubator, and he would have mentioned some of the dApps. Again, I know Empower again is also among the dApps being supported by the incubator. My goal is to facilitate money transfer using the blockchain and through a non-custodian self-custody escrow contract. We're already quite advanced trying to implement the testnet within this week. I tried a few, so it's kind of good to know it's working. Other than that, basically in Africa, I would like to help blockchain being implemented in many ways, especially in the voting part of the applications, given that there are many inefficiencies when it comes to elections in Africa. Yeah. Thanks.
That is a very noble thing to do. And I would love, do you want to tell a bit more about like where exactly, like where's your home base for the project? And do you like...
I am currently in Canada, but most of my activities in Africa are in the DRC, Congo. We have,
nice.
Through the WADA Hub, I also manage a college in Congo. So we hosted the WADA Hub in Goma, which holds weekly meetings. They learn Haskell and they learn Protos. And also we have a stake pool in the college. So many activities in the DRC, and Equival, once it's launched, will integrate not only blockchain, but also money, mobile money. And yes, I think it's going to be at least easy on the diaspora to send back and forth remittances.
Yeah, and that's a huge problem. So maybe to, so my fiance is Nigerian because I worked a long time in Nigeria, also in Zambia, but I have to pick up every 3 months a new payment app because the one was blocked, or there's a problem with the government. So
Yes.
I use Bitcoin, and I'm not the biggest fan of Bitcoin because like there are a lot of people ban accounts in Nigeria when they interact with peer-to-peer Binance trading. So that is a real problem that you're trying to solve. I really love that. I want to have a short introduction from the other people, but I would love to return to that topic. Kuse, am I pronouncing your name correctly? You wanna quickly introduce yourself and maybe tell us about RealFi after this table? And tell me from where you're calling in. I think that's always very interesting to know where people are sitting. Kose, have you heard me? Maybe I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Sorry, it's Kawe. I know nobody gets right at the first time. Hey, Tivo. Hey, guys. I just joined in to collect information and be a listener. We are trying to learn about the DeFi, RealFi, whatever it is. And as we got Tevo here, I like the way he explained things, so I might thought that I join in to see if I can learn something. Thank you, guys.
That's beautiful. Because you asked the question, the difference between DeFi and RealFi. And actually, when you're out on Twitter, sometimes it's not that obvious. So the original idea was that RealFi, if I track base, I looked at the early interviews, the most, like the very early one that ever were made about the topic RealFi, the idea that you have a DeFi mechanism, but you have some real identity to it, and we expand upon that definition and say, okay, it's DeFi with real assets, which comes because like we're a group of startups. One of us Empower, they build houses, we build factories. So we hope that by the end of the year we have the first factory running on Cardano, which I think will be such an amazing event happening, and I think a lot of people will watch out, I hope. Yeah, I think, but we will keep that definition open. So we do not want to make it too narrow because it's how we see it, but definitely with identity. Yeah. But that's wonderful.
Yeah, Kawa, you stepped in the wrong breakout room. This time I'm not gonna be any smarter. I was actually coming here for the same reason, like learning, okay, what is RealFi? Because I had my own assumptions what it could be, because I was thinking in terms of like deliverables, documents, or IP, and which is kind of tasks for future or completed tasks, and then you kind of do DeFi on that and get projects completed in that way. But I do like the fact what you're mentioning, like factories, because I'm coming from enterprise resource planning software development side, and like my vision was also that we need an open source tool, because right now it's just every developer is just creating their own silo and integrating and but if you could collaborate and create ERP, and now I understand it's a RealFi, and then I think we're in a correct way to leverage blockchain.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely is, and I think that RealFi is, you know, like I think Cardano will win because of RealFi. I think that is the, like, I mean, Cardano will win for a lot of reasons, whatever winning means, but I mean, it will become a dominant chain because I wouldn't know, and I've been now, like, before I joined Wire Collective, became a full-time Cardano entrepreneur, so to say. I was working for German banks, building, wallet infrastructure, so whole storage, warm storage, super compliant stuff, and we built on Ethereum back in the day. And you see, I have a huge problem when crypto is only about trading, because you know, if you trade Chuck E. Cheese tokens to get more Chuck E. Cheese tokens, you know, what is it in the end, right? It's a puzzle. I mean, like, I've said it on camera, but it is just what it is, right? And what you need is real value. And real value are things like identity, licenses, all the paperwork because there is real value of getting rid of the paperwork, right? And if you're in paperwork, right, like connecting real assets to it, it's just a stone's throw away. It's very connected to the ideas, you know, connecting supply chain to it. But now when you think about supply chain, and that only a few people know, but when you go to a big logistics provider, they will tell you that their dirty secret is that nobody actually knows where that stuff is. And I really mean it. Like you would be horrified, but when you send containers over, like on the big shipload, right? Like people sometimes not even know on which ship it is exactly. So maybe they might know that, but then which container completely lost. And that is shocking. So it like on point, I couldn't say it to you. I mean, in the end, when it comes to the fulfillment center and what is all clear again, but this visibility is really not there. And when you now transfer that to our overall economy, right? If we could have a snapshot, a realistic snapshot where every value in our economy is, so really taking Cardano as the base layer of everything, I think we like, when you look about insurances, when you look about optimization, when you look about finding true prices for something, when you think about like the negative externalities that supply chain brings with it, it's super powerful. And I think this is really what crypto is about. And the last year, you know, it's not about flipping NFTs. It's about building real value. And I think that's what we're all about. So 100%. Yeah. I would love to hear more about the DRC project if you because what I'm really interested about, if I may interview, because I as a fellow entrepreneur sitting right now in Uganda, I would love to hear about like how you would do education and get people to actually use it, because this is for us is one of the challenges that we do have to do a lot of education, which is fine and beautiful, because okay, when people understand what crypto is really about, how I explain it when somebody asks me to make them interested, because sometimes they're like, crypto is a scammy thing. I tell them, you see, when you're born in the DRC, you have access to a certain financial system. But when I'm born in Germany, my life will look much better because I have access to the German financial system. But when we do with crypto, all you need is internet, and we're all in the same financial system. And that is the big equalizer that crypto is about to bring in the world. And I'm just interested in how you educate people and how you do it. And I've seen the raised hands, and we'll come back after that. I think everybody should have enough time to speak as much as they want, but I'm just super curious about that. So maybe you can elaborate.
Okay. So basically in the DRC, as you know, it's a country which has challenges. We do not have many laws which are clear cut, like the legislation. In most sub-Saharan Africa, the crypto area is not regulated in a very clear way. So we did first of all learn as to what is the public policy, and the public policy is basically formulated in the sense that you should use crypto at your own risk. That is basically the underlying communication from the central bank. And through it, then we're saying that we're going to implement the blockchain to facilitate remittance payments. So in the DRC first, we know mobile money is king. Like there's a lot of people who have mobile money. Most people have their accounts on mobile money, like my cousins. People don't have bank accounts for the main reason that the banks in Congo support mostly the large companies, the mining sector, the telecommunications. So those are the things that support the banking, and through the telecommunications, the banks do have access to the funds, given that the mobile money, the mobile companies have deposits in banks. So indirectly, yes, people are banked. However, with blockchain, there had been many scams before, a lot of, again, I'll interrupt whenever Peter is ready. And there has been many scams. So basically, whenever you talk about crypto, what they hear is Bitcoin and Bitcoin fraud. Basically, they were telling you that, well, you can deposit some $100. Within 2 months, you're going to get double that amount. And you never received any keys. You never understood what it meant to hold your own wallet. However, the education to tell them that they actually need to host their own keys and their own wallet, that was clear. Because even for mobile money, you do have your PIN. And when you give them the analogy, they kind of understand, this looked a bit fishy, given that even on my mobile money, I still have to sign the transaction in one way. So the education was quite easy. In terms of programming, the developers, that's where the challenge comes in, given that the developers, first of all, speak mostly French. But again, as I said, through the WADA Hub, we have weekly Bluetooth and Haskell learning. I've myself completed the Bluetooth Pioneer program, and I can tell you those guys, they memorize those functions. Like whenever I'm lost in a Bluetooth script and I'm kind of looking as to what function I need to use, I can just send an SMS and they will tell me which one to use, because they spend like 40 hours a week memorizing those functions. So given that we have that way of people who can focus enough time, then I'm sure blockchain in those countries is easy to implement, because they will be learning the language and they like the language. Haskell, it's quite a very interesting language from what I hear from them. And so far, Equival, what we are doing is for them a project-based learning. So they develop the front end, and I do the Bluetooth script, and I show them how it interacts. They have test nodes running, so they can do the transactions on the test net, and sometimes they look at the front end and the integration with the validator. So I would say, in general, crypto in Congo, it's open. It's only the skill set which is lacking. And also there are many sectors that are actually open for businesses, like something like banking in the DRC. It's so off. Like in the DRC, the bank doesn't even let you see your bank account online. They're so satisfied of their service to the big corporation that for the retail, they're not basically even caring. Like you can stay 4 hours in line and nobody actually talks to you to get your money out of the account. So they will never know what hit them, basically, those guys. And that's a matter of less than a year. For example, if the Equival app goes live, who will use like a bank account to basically receive funds outside? Like it's just not, it doesn't make sense. Myself, I go to the Congo often. And sometimes whenever there is a little issue, the bank asks me to leave Canada to go and sign some paper document in the DRC just to unlock some $800 funds or some little $500, like for nothing really. And they're just too, I think they're kind of too satisfied, a bit negligent.
Yeah, I like, we had, I think yesterday we had an interview live on a live stream with one of our strategic contributors, Mutuba Nungoni, he has a factory in Zambia, and he put it so well. He said, banks in Africa are glorified ATMs for big corporations. Like it puts it down. They're not made for normal people. They're made for the banks, for the mines, for everybody, and for the government. But it's not. And so there's a huge gap that is to be filled. And I sent you a message. I don't know if you have sent me, because I think we met before in one of these rooms, but I think you should definitely be part of our alliance. So send me an email and we onboard you. And
Perfect.
I want to give the word again to our other friend who you raised your hand. You you want to talk, Josie? Sorry, the name again.
Kawe.
Kawe. Okay. Like
I'd like to ask you, Simon, and Genty, if possible, about the Empower, because you are associated with Casa Real to build those houses, right? And regarding RealFi, those houses are being documented or, I don't know, registered in RealFi. That's one question. The other question is relating to the metaverse. They have these land slots that they sell in metaverse, but I don't know if it's connected to the real ground or the real land in the real world, but yet it's transaction. So those two questions, if you have the time, please.
So I love to answer. So first of all, I'm not a member of Empower, so I can only tell you what I know. That might not be true 100%, but I will do my best. So it's as far as I understand Empower, they work with local providers to build their houses, but what they mainly take care of is the financing and the compliance of these things. So the financing is done via the crypto, and when you do the financing, right, when you have the funds on chain, it becomes pretty easy to do compliance because then it becomes transparent. How exactly they do it, where they put it, how exactly all the center pieces look like, I'm not 100% aware of. But fundamentally, the main part is the financing. But again, in the moment you have the financing, and this is also how we work, all the rest becomes easy because the question is always, where does the money go? And when you have a good book record, it becomes very easy to prove a lot of things. And then you can, of course, also put up some identity to it, some documents. There's IMX. They're also very, very keen of building these things, and I think I'm not sure if they work with Empower, but we will use them to do exactly what you just said. We use their service to register the things, and maybe now Peter is turning around and looking away, but he would be the perfect person to talk about that, because it's very much what he's doing, and he's doing it with IMX, I think, in cooperation in Landano, Land Registry DApp. So I think if you want to have an in-depth, highly sophisticated answer, I think Peter's the right person to answer. And Jonathan, after that, I would love to hear more about you because you just came online, but because it's a perfect question for you, Peter. So maybe tell you a bit what you know about how you would go about these things, where the challenges he's doing it in Ghana. The stage is yours.
Thanks. Yeah, so I'm Peter Van Garderen. I'm with the Landano project. We're a Fund 7 funded Project Catalyst project. Our goal is to help bring marginalized people on chain via any land property that they own. A big blocker right now for getting into the financial system is proving that you own land that may belong to your family or your village in much of the marginalized global south. So there's a number of issues, like land title registration systems across the world are complex. They're quite often siloed. They're usually broken into multiple subsystems. So from a technology point of view, they're not managed very well. They're very complicated. There's a lot of legacy technical debt out there. In many global south countries, the systems, digital systems were never even introduced. So there's a huge digitization gap. There's a lot of corruption or mismanagement or the ability to abuse systems. There's a lot of fraud around land title, people buying and selling land title behind the true owner's back. So there's a need for a good record keeping solution, which we happen to have with blockchain. So we are working on figuring out how we can apply the Cardano blockchain technology to improve land title registration and land administration. And so we are starting with, right now, we're working on a pilot project on the ground in Ghana, Africa, and we've got a Fund 8 proposal to do another one in Mozambique. So what we're proposing to do is build a technology platform infrastructure for land management that complements existing and improves upon existing land title registration systems. So we are not a national government. We can't replace we're not a state. We can't replace the registration of titles formally. But there is a huge gray area we're discovering in this whole area. There's a whole range of services and documentation and record keeping that needs to improve, and there's a ton of room for improvement, and the biggest bang for our buck is going to the people that need it most. So because once they can get some kind of documentation, and ideally that's some blockchain, Cardano blockchain backed notarized document, then they can take the next step and go to the bank and get a mortgage or borrow for seeds or for agricultural equipment, or even better, don't even have to go to the bank now. Now that this record's on the blockchain, you can go directly to the DeFi lenders and borrow for for leasing land or for doing farming or other things. So that's our goal, is to be that solution in between. We can never, like, again, we are not a national government. We are not, we don't have constitutional power over the land, so we can't become our own land registry. So that we're actually we're going to change our tagline to land management DApp, by the way. So we're going to take that registry out of there. So we hope that by doing good work and being good, faithful, trustworthy partners, that over time, actual governments will go, hey, it's time to upgrade our land management system. Why don't we use this Landano thing instead? Half our population's using it. It seems to be pretty trustworthy and reliable. And so the idea is to build like a complementary upgrade path for the government to run a land title app, land registry system off of Landano at some point as well. But our starting point is to kind of low-hanging fruit, meeting the needs for marginalized people that have no title on their property, that if they do, they can take a step into the financial world with it. So that's kind of our mission and our approach. And I'm happy to answer some questions about that. So your question about people, yeah, like Decentraland and all these other kind of like metaverse type things, people, and there's a lot of claims out there. There's people claiming that they've done land title registration on the blockchain or that they're able to do it. I would take all of those with a grain of salt. And certainly any metaverse project that's saying, oh, we created a metaverse that's like a proxy, a one-to-one mirror of the real world, and come claim this land now. I mean, you have no more claim to the land in the metaverse with a metaverse record than you would with a blockchain record that isn't then also tied to the actual backend administrative systems of the government. And so so whether it's in metaverse or in blockchain or on a Web2 website, those records are meaningless. And they're fun, but you can create a metaverse that mirrors the real world, but it's not the real world. I do see a point in time. So what we're doing is we're using NFT technologies. So we are minting land records as NFTs. I do certainly see a point in time when blockchain-based records and NFTs and so forth become assets in metaverses where they are used to generate metaverse assets or metaverse scenes and so forth. So I could foresee a time when you actually have a legal NFT, that a Landano legal NFT that could be fed into a metaverse. And you could say, well, you've got a nice metaverse over there, but our metaverse is actually using real world legal records, right? So that would distinguish it. But to me, that's far step into the future still. There's a whole bunch of little steps we have to take first. And frankly, that's why we're doing a pilot, right? Is to figure out the requirements, what the needs are on the ground, rather than some dude like me in Canada going, you need blockchain on your, and sprinkling down a solution. We want to be dealing with people on the ground in Ghana and Mozambique, and then dealing with the potential users and coming back to us and saying, that's all fine and good, but we actually just really need this. So that's the process we're going through right now. I'm actually doing a presentation on this, pretty much echoing this and giving a little bit more detail about the Ghana pilot tonight at the Pacific Town Hall for Project Catalyst. For anyone who's interested, there's a meetup online, open to the public. So there's a small group of us that live on the West Coast of North America, or over in that part of the world, where it's usually things a little bit later for us. So we've started organizing our own Pacific Town Hall. We meet every 2 weeks. So yeah, that's Landano. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I missed your presentation, Genti, but it sounds very interesting and appealing to me. What project are you with?
There was actually no presentation. I was just talking about an application we're developing for the DRC for money transfer.
Yeah.
It's actually, I would say it's value transfer. The money transfer is just the beginning where people know what to use the application for, but it's actually value transfer. And right. I'm also based in Canada. I'm in Ottawa, but I'll go to the Congo, to the DRC, like at least once a year.
Neat. Okay. Cool. Well, I'd love to talk to you some more. Sorry, that just reminded me of your other question you had, Cal, is was about Empower. So yeah, Empower works with Casa Real. Casa Real is a developer on the ground, and Empower's business model is not to do the actual building of the buildings, is to work with developers. So they want to loan money for projects to a developer who's going to go build 10 homes or 20 homes or 30 homes, and then the developer goes and sells it to, right? So Empower wants to raise money so that a developer like Casa Real can go to Empower, borrow money, like $1 million, now build 10 homes, and then Casa Real will go off and sell those homes. I don't know. Empower probably has plans further down the line for real estate as well, marketing, but their business model right now is to lend money raised on the blockchain to builders in Africa to build cheap homes, with the target being like $10,000 total cost is kind of like the sweet spot that they're trying to aim for. And we have been talking with them because obviously it makes for a logical connection. It's like, well, first of all, get your village to like claim legal ownership of and title of the land that you have. Now you can go forth with confidence to start building on it so that nobody's going to come back and challenge you later on. You've got documentation. So now you can go to a lender like Empower going, okay, our community wants to build 20 new houses here. Can you lend us some money from that? Empower lends you the money, hooks you up with a builder shows up, builds the homes. And so there's going to be this like ecosystem and chain of like interrelated services and companies that can provide solutions around land and housing, in my opinion. And it's starting to solidify around the Cardano RealFi Alliance as well. And we've got lots of interrelated issues with things like, how do you prove something is really happening on the ground? How do you prove the framing was done? How do you prove where the boundary of this territory is? How do you prove how much rainfall or whether trees are still there, whether a certain type of cotton with a certain kind of quality arrived at the shipping bay, whether it got turned into a t-shirt and got shipped out to the right retail store or warehouse. So these are all things, supply chain stuff. So all things happening in the real world that we need to turn into digital information that's authentic, trustworthy, put on the blockchain, and then fit into our blockchain app. So those are, forget about land and real estate. There's an even lower lying problem that we have in the Cardano RealFi Alliance is like, how do we prove things really happen in the real world? How do we get it on chain? How do we do it in a systemized, standardized, common way so that we can easily supplement and facilitate the building of this marketplace within the Cardano community itself to give Cardano projects a competitive advantage. And there's huge momentum happening already. And Simon's been a big part of that. He's kind of been leading the way. So thank you, Simon. Absolutely,
Peter. I absolutely love your in-depth and all the details that you work out. I love to listen to you. This is really great and always interesting. And yeah, this is 100% what we're trying to do, and it's such a complicated problem, right? Like there's so many different aspects to it, to get this real picture, especially when you think about all records, especially when you think about confirming if something has happened. And I think it's all interconnected, right? Like if I make a payment, I want to I want to trigger something. Has that happened? It's an endless story. But right now, really also want to have Jonathan, because I think you have been waiting to speak and tell us about your project and what you're doing. And I also want to add that. And after Jonathan, I would also have I'd love to have Mohammed. Also, I would love to hear what you're about. But let's now go for Jonathan first. Where are you sitting? From where are you calling in? What's the project?
Simon, it's a pleasure. Actually, I advise Cardano actually on their move to agility. So I'm actually working directly with Cardano because within the governance work that they're doing. But yeah, I'm in Belgium, but I've joined because I'm doing a lot of work at the moment in Africa. So I specialize in customer experience management basically. And yeah, so we're doing a lot of work in South Africa, also in Rwanda as well. We should be running some events next year as well. So the reason why I joined this was because I saw it say Africa, and it was to find out what was happening over there. I liked what Peter was saying as well. Well, everyone said really interesting stuff. But what Peter mentioned, trialing stuff out, I think maybe there's a potential in Rwanda as well. So this could be possible, trialing the distribution of land. I don't know if you want to call it that, however you want to call it, a pilot that's possible in Rwanda, because we've, I've bought land there, and I've got family members who've done like real estate projects there as well. So we probably could help with that. But really, I'm just listening in and finding out ways that I can basically, add value or support with the group.
Yeah, well, that's great, and I think it's often this perspectives when you have been on the continent for a while and have been working that you really see the power of blockchain, right? Like it's really, people often forget that of all the DeFi and NFT stuff. It's there's not too much immediate value that the Western world has much from crypto, right? But it's an absolute game changer. And for me personally, I've been working for 2 years. I had 2 startups, one in Zambia and one in Nigeria. And then after Nigeria, I've basically said, okay, there's so hard problems, I simply don't know how to solve them, or would I wouldn't know if anyone would know it. And then I worked 2 years into crypto, and I was like, wait a second. Well, there are a lot of solutions, and the beauty is that it leaves the power with the people. And I think for our project, for example, this really needs to be our center, right? That we create solutions that leave the power and the decision and autonomy. Autonomy is a big word here, with the people. And I think it's the only way how you can build projects that will unfold and it will be adopted across different cultures and across different just a whole spectrum of challenges that we're facing. And I think what Peter is doing and Landano is doing, and the same for all the other projects in the RealFi Alliance, and hope will grow soon with more projects. It's absolutely essential, and it's super important that we work together, because they all fit so perfectly together, right? Whenever you have you have land, you have houses, you have industry. These things are so interconnected, and we have to create this roundtable, because, and I can say that because most of you have been in Africa. I mean, there's one thing to talk about, crypto in Africa, and I see so many people that are jumping on it, Algorand and even Vitalik, right? Like all of them, but they I don't think that many of them know how hard it is. Like, it makes up a good headline, but they don't know how hard it is. It's like, it's like, and I say that like, because like we got crushed in Nigeria, like because we misunderestimated the market, and like I'm here because I got a bloody nose. Like I was almost kidnapped by people of my staff getting kidnapped. I know what I'm talking about when I say it's hard, and I know that some of you might even know it better than I do, and I give you honor that, and I think this is why this format is so important, that we have a forum where we can talk and be honest about it and say, I have this, you have that. And that's why we have to be kind of a family here and share. And I think together we can build something really great. And now I want to give the word to Mohammed with your beautiful, beautiful background. Tell us who you are, where you're calling in, what's your project, what brought you tonight?
Okay, I'm Mohammed. It's much shorter name is Iya. It's because if everyone can recognize the name Iya. My proposal is about building a metaverse. It's part of metaverse for the ancient Egyptian monuments. It's under the business challenge. Why we put into under the business challenge is because we believe this is a paradigm shift for the tourist industry, especially the cultural tourist industry. So that's about me simply. And I believe there is a huge business opportunity behind this proposal, because what we are trying to achieve is that we're giving the people the option, an alternative to have like affordable trips to the history. Okay, so that's why I believe it's a business opportunity. It's not a game. It's not a social metaverse. So it's a business opportunity. There is so many details in the project. I don't want to waste your time in going for these details. So
yeah, no, but I do want to like rest a moment here, because I don't know. I've been a gamer. I've been playing Assassin's Creed. I don't know if that's
not
a game.
No. It's not a game. No. What we try?
Not a game. It's not a game.
Yeah. It's not a game. It's like a new type of metaverse that is based on the cultural sightseeing. It's not a game.
Okay, so it's an experience rather.
It's ever been an experience. And what is the key factor for our proposal is what we call the joyful experience. And there is where the business actually is. Because for a joyful experience, we have the approach that we have ambassadors that is located everywhere in the world, and they have the devices and the equipment that is making the trip for the visitor a joyful trip. So this is where the business comes. They are the one promoting Kimi Land. Okay, clear? They are the one promoting Kimi Land, which is the metaverse name, and they are the one that like the issuing the ticket. Kimi Land as a treasury is only taking like if a man in the state, and the price for the ticket is like $30 or $30 US. then Kimiland will only take $1 out of the $30. If even you are in the other side of the world, like in Asia, you have 15 US dollar for the visiting ticket. We still received a $1 ticket. Maybe it's Dijad, I don't know. So I'm saying that Dijad. I believe I have a discussion about using Dijad instead of anything else, because if what we're trying to achieve is having a stable economy. So there's a real it's a real business. It's not.
Yeah, can I ask? Because this sounds really interesting to me. So if I understand correctly, I go into your metaverse, right? And it's kind of like a lobby, or like, hey, welcome to our sorry, you said the name, I forget it already. And like, would you like to go to the pyramids today, or would you like to go to the Mayan ruins today? Step into here, buy your ticket, and now you go into this experience, and suddenly you're connected to a tour guide who's live in person on that site, and they start opening up their camera and maybe a 360 camera or something like that, right?
Yeah, whatever the technology provides.
Sure.
This is the idea.
And then they become your personal guide. Like they walk around, you can talk to them, saying, "Hey, look over there, pick that up, do this." Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. There is so much details in the idea. I'm sorry, guys, if I don't want to waste your time. But
but it's an interesting concept. Yeah. And then, I mean, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there's two things also still that I should raise, is that we have the public areas and the private areas. The private areas is our city. I have to go one step back. There are visitor and citizens. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm taking much of your time, let me know, okay? Because I'm
interested. I don't know. It's up to you, Simon. You got running this.
Oh, it's always nice to listen to someone with passion.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay. So first of all, we have two type of individuals that interact with Kimiland: the visitors and the citizens. The citizens is that the people. What we believe is the people that is doing everything to guarantee a joyful trip for the visitors. Visitors are like families, like couples, like school trip.
I totally see where you're going with this. I would even consider calling them hosts, right? I know what you're saying, like citizens. It's like, I live in this country, I belong here. But when you say host, you see it from the visitor point of view. It's like, oh, somebody there to welcome me, right? Like, what's the best thing about going traveling is like meeting people locally, right? Like locals.
It's exactly
like this.
They are the artists. They have the parcels.
Very cool.
They have the parcels. They have they create ceremonies. It's open. It's when it comes to the business, it's open. It's a huge base of opportunities for everyone, for the artists, for nature, for fashion dressing. Everyone, I believe it is something huge. And the crucial part of this proposal is the ambassadors. Ambassadors are in our perception of ambassadors, they should be located everywhere in the world. They are the one that actually promoting Kimiland. They're going for the schools and okay, guys, we have Kimiland here. Let's arrange for a school trip. Okay, they have the devices, because I don't feel that to have a joyful experience when it comes to the culture, you must have two things. The first one is that you have the devices and the tools that make it joyful, especially the VR sound system, whatever the technology will provide at that time, okay, when we launch. And the most important thing, and the second important thing is the companion. When it comes to a cultural site visit, okay, I cannot feel it when I'm traveling alone. It won't be that much interesting. Especially there is already that have been done some digital restoration, but it failed the lack of interactions, and you cannot share it with someone. That's why it remain in the website, or we remain in like a video.
It's a great idea, and even for the tourist sites themselves, I wouldn't see this competition. I would see it as advertising. Because if I spend a few hours going, wow, I really want to go back there. I really want to see that in person. So now you start saving money to come visit next year, right? And what's and I could see how you would use something like Cardano as the backend payment system, right? For managing ticketing and all kind of that. It's ideal for blockchain technology. And then so I'm sitting at Netflix, spending an hour trying to find the right show to watch. Oh, boom, there's the app. I'll just spend $5 and have somebody walk me. I don't know what the money is. I don't know what the fair rate is, right? But anyway, whatever it is, I'd rather than watch another stupid Netflix show, I'd rather go for a walkabout.
And bring the companion. Bring someone that you love, like a child, like a
right
girlfriend.
I think it's an amazing. This has got to be somebody else has got a thought of this, right? You have competitors, like you must have.
Not yet.
This sounds like an amazing, too good of an idea not to happen.
Not yet.
Really?
But very soon, I believe this is how especially the cultural metaverse will go for. It's the cultural metaverse is different. It's not a social metaverse where you can go.
A little. I'll stop there. I know I get on a. Sometimes I get a little locked in. I have trouble stopping. But like just thinking about again, coming back to my expertise, the authenticity. So what I've been looking at a lot, there's a lot of camera technology, some camera technology that's being built now that's like to create trusted execution environments, right? So that you can prove that this camera, that this picture, this photo is being used in journalism now. There's some interesting work being done in journalism. So to prove that a picture was taken in a particular location, right? Like at a particular point in time. You can say that, you can have X of metadata attached to a JPEG file, but anybody that knows what they're doing can manipulate that. But now there's like this actual technology that like uses an on-chip device, and it's now becoming commercial. You can get it in an Android phone. And so like an XTC phone, HTC phone, so XTC. And then basically what it's doing, it's proving that the image is saying where it's coming from. This is just, I don't think you have that. You're not going to have that problem. Somebody's going to see whether they're looking at the pyramids or not, or whether they're looking at a green screen or not, right? But it might be a little one of those extra fun little things to say, yes, this person really is right here, right now, right? Like that's. I think you have less of a problem with authenticity than the other projects that we were talking about earlier. I think that's, as I'm talking, I'm realizing it's probably less of an issue for you. But
no. It's like a tournament. Whenever if you want to take a selfie, we will provide you the selfie option. If I understand you clearly, but
right,
there is no enforcement to.
No, it's more like if there's an issue proving that your citizens are actually in the location they say they are. But I mean, that's hard to like fake if you're actually trying to show people like the sites, right? Like
this is something. To be frank, this is something that we have to work out when it comes, especially when the incentives. Because this can even be for like journalism. Like let's say there's like war, revolution, stuff happening, riots. You could use the same technology now.
Yeah, or like I don't know why, but I always have to think about like old people that can't travel anymore. You know, this last journey that you want to take. You know, you're in the hospice, like, or some, you know, like this idea that you could give someone like this last journey that I can go and just see that one thing that I always wanted to see. So I definitely, I don't know if it's like just the excitement that Peter and you have for it, but you know, by now I also think that it's an interesting idea for sure. You know, like
I kept like for 2 months. I didn't sleep for 2 months. Okay, trying to build the equation for what it should be. Like for 2 months, okay. Now, when it comes to the restoration, what happened if you just build the restoration? How do people get interacted with the restoration? Okay, I'll get attracted with the restoration. Then the idea came to my mind. Okay, why we don't use the power of the people by providing the concept of the ambassador, like the person that is promoting the location, and providing the tools and means for the people to enjoy the trip. So I'm sorry, guys, for taking that much a long time.
No, I think that's a key part of it, because we've been seeing I'm involved in the archives world, in the digital heritage world. So we've been seeing like slowly over the last 10 years, more and more 3D models, like exactly like you said, and they get put online, and you go to one museum, and then you have to download some viewer software from them, and then you have to go. It's a really clunky,
very boring. It's very boring,
impersonal, clunky, personal, very technical experience. And like you said, there's nothing to connect me. Like it's a very technical experience, But the best part of being a tourist is having a fun tourist guide, and having that connection, having that one-on-one, right? And so you're right, that's totally missing from the online world. I mean, forget about, it could be true for anything. When we see it like in pair programming as another example, right? Like this idea of like, you know, anyway, it's all very exciting. And that you can never, the critics are going to say you're never going to replace real travel, and you're just going to say that's not what we're trying to do. We're supplementing real travel.
No,
we're making it possible where it's not possible. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. But let's see this. When it comes to like, if I wish to travel to Egypt, how much the trip will cost me? Minimum like 2,000K. Sorry, 2K. It's minimum. At least 2Ks, okay? And so many people in the world like the Egyptian civilization, but they cannot afford for such a trip. We give them the option for that. We cannot replace definitely the traditional tourism, because it's the feelings and the sense of the actual thing. It's very different. I admit
it's totally different. Yeah.
But
you're not selling that. This is like an in-between experience, a supplemental experience. I love it. It's great. Good job. So this is a Fund 8 proposal. You're asking
Yeah.
for money in Fund 8.
Yeah, it's Fund 8 proposal under the business
In which-
challenge. It's named
Okay.
touristic.
You guys are probably the same. You get to the point where you can't go through every challenge and vote on every one. So there's a few challenges I skip sometimes because I spend like an hour voting, right? It's like, okay, so I haven't dipped into yours, but I'll go vote for you before I got another 12 hours.
You're lucky that it's in top
Everyone
10,
does.
and the name is cultural tourism beyond borders.
Exactly.
I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now while I shut up.
And one thing more. If you feel that you like the idea and want to collaborate, I'm seeking the collaboration more than everything else, really, because it's a huge thing when it comes to the economics of the place. It's when it comes to the architecture for the blockchain, when it comes to even the architecture of the game. Should we go for the centralized version first, and we're moving to the decentralized version? So if you have anything that you wish, or you feel that you like the idea and you wish to join, I'm open for that. Okay. So
I love it. I have too many good ideas. So this one is amazing, and I support it. And I love it. But I have more than enough on my plate right now.
Okay.
But I'm definitely gonna follow and support you. Nice work.
Yeah. If you wish, if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay. For sure, I'm always here.
Super. Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I love it to see people being excited about a project like this. Is because I'm also very excited whenever I talk about Wire and the factories, and it's just amazing. Yeah, it's a lot. I want to say, so it's 10 p.m. where I am, so because I'm in an East African time zone, so I won't make it that long anymore. I don't know if you see my eyes, I'm pretty tired. Right now we're working every day from, I don't know, it's like from 9 to 9, like every day. There's so much to do, and then we jump on in a call. But I love the energy. Like it's really wonderful, and I maybe want to open it up again because we've touched on many different topics here. Again, it's a RealFi Alliance. If you're interested in joining it, if you have also the people maybe that are now that I know Yoshi is, I think you're already part of it, but you know, if you would know someone, if recommend him this room, let's get together. I was saying it earlier, our market is hard. I don't think there's any market where we can win more than in this market. And I think we really have to take it seriously to build a better world. And I mean, people say it often, it's a bit cheesy, but you know, it's not about managing misery, right? Like it's about finding real solutions. And I often feel what traditional players do is just manage issues without finding solutions. So let's really, I invite you to join us and to make it happening. And my brain gets slow, so I don't need to close the room, but I think I have to go to sleep soon. So if there's any more, Peter, you can, I gladly, you're part of the alliance. If you want to keep this room open, I make you to, then I will make you to.
I've got a thing at 12. I've got a thing at 12 myself, so that's a good segue. Thank you, Simon.
But it was beautiful to have you here. We learned a lot of cool projects. Tevo, I hope, and also the other ones, I hope the questions about RealFi in Africa have been solved. We are here every Wednesday. I keep the room open. It's important for me. And even if it's just about some interesting conversation or some crazy ideas, it's fine. This is what it's for. This is this Project Catalyst. This is an open table, and it's a home for crazy people. So really happy. I'll feel me in good companionship. And wait, what? Yeah, she's